Hello, welcome to today's show and hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are. Now, today I just want to focus on the main thing. The theme is really that, Bitcoin is definitely going to become the reserve currency of the world. And the first trickle has already dropped inside the bucket. So let's look at why I said that. Now, first we have Venezuela government offering remittance in Bitcoin and Litecoin. Let me just go into this first, right? This seemingly harmless news, but actually has a very key implication in it. Not many media outlets have reported this, but definitely some smaller medias have reported this. But let me just go into this quickly. The government of Nicolas Maduro has started offering a cryptocurrency remittance service. The Superintendency of Crypto Assets and Related Activities, SUNACRIP, the main regulator of all crypto activities in Venezuela, announced the launch of the service on its Patria platform last week. Once the cryptocurrency transaction is confirmed, the funds will be available on the platform in sovereign bolivars. Venezuela TV reported, noting that the system will allow the user to receive a maximum of cryptocurrency equivalent to 10 petros per month in bolivars. However, with specific approval by SUNACRIP, the recipient can receive up to the equivalent in euros of 50 petros. Now, so this is a government remittance service. What it is that, and this is the websites, right? remizas.patria.org.ve/es/login. This is basically in the screen. And I've put in the screen. The original screenshot was in Spanish, but you can, Google has this cool features, of course, that allow you to translate to English, right? And this is the translated version, and you can check it out for yourself. Basically, what it means is that this is a government platform to allow people to send remittances in Bitcoin and Litecoin. For now, it's just the two coins supported, as you can see at the top banner up here. BTC to Euro, BTC to USD rates that they are given there. Similarly, Litecoin, what is the exchange rates as well, per Euro to per USD. Now, their rates may differ from, what is reported in CoinMarketCap or elsewhere, but definitely this is the rate that they are going to use, and they are going to charge a commission fee of up to 15% for this service. Now, this is very key. Few things here. One is you have government, right? Second, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and third, commission. What it means is that they are offering a service, right? They are the middleman to make sure that they take a cut, because they recognize that increasingly people in Venezuela, especially the educated ones, the richer ones who have some means, right, to access the internet, who have knowledge of Bitcoin, those people are using Bitcoin, and they are using the peer-to-peer platform localbitcoins.com being the most prominent platform for them, but there are others as well, to transact, to exchange for goods, to basically trade with one another using US dollars or Bolivar and get their hands on Bitcoin. That's why the government recognize that this is definitely happening, whether they allow it or not, whether they do anything or not, right? So, and also despite they have their own cryptocurrency called Petro. And don't forget, because the inflation in Venezuela has been crazy, right? It's almost wiped out their value of their currency, Bolivar, which is VES. It has basically wiped out the currency value, right, up to 99%. And that's why people are looking into alternatives, like they really want USD, they really want an alternative like Bitcoin. So what happened is then, that's why the volumes in localbitcoin.com increase really dramatically, and we'll see that later. But first, now back to Patria. So this is a service offered by the Venezuela government. Now that they realize, right, that they might as well join in the movement and take a cut. They basically, why don't they just suck in some profit in the middle of all this popularity, right? And people may then be people who may not know may just use their platform. But again, they also mentioned in the report or in their press release that they may just stop this service at any time. So that is the other thing, right? It is not 100% reliable, unlike the peer-to-peer platform where right, if you don't get your Bitcoin, you don't have to release your funds. There's always the escrow service. But this is the way that they are doing it, yeah. So now in the next screen, you can see the commission. Here, when I'm doing this recording at the point of capture, which is 5th of March at about 5 p.m. Singapore time, the commission at the time of recording is about 7%, still much higher than local Bitcoin's commission of just 1%. But there were news media, right, where they had done the capture maybe last week. The commission then was about 11.8%. That means 12%, as you can see in the screenshot now, if you can, right? If you're driving, of course, do not attempt to see, just listen. Now, that's the thing, the commission is very high regardless, right? Even 7 to 12% is still much higher than even a credit card fee of, let's say, 2 to 4%, and way higher than 1% that you just need to pay if you're using the public chain Bitcoin, right, to transact with each other. So that's the thing. And the key is this, right, that the way that they are doing this, that means the way that the government is having their own crypto remittances, and in two of the very major cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Litecoin, right, digital gold and digital silver, signifies that they do recognize, and it is the start of them realizing that, they have to accept eventually cryptocurrency as a legal tender. And that is the start of the trickle in water to, for Bitcoin and major cryptocurrencies to become the reserve currency USD that we know today, right? And that is the ultimate goal and number one wish for many crypto proponents in the industry, yeah. But of course, we are still very in the early days. Make no mistake, we are still in the very early days. But this is one of those moments in history that you need to be very cognizant, right? We are still in the very early days, and this is one of those it just takes little small actions like this to really tilt, to become the tipping point before everyone caught on, right? Now, this is a website, right? Marketplace.org. You should check out this. I put the link already in the screenshot, and I also put the link in the description below. You should check out this website because the editor there have actually managed to find an economist in Venezuela and who has actually used Bitcoin to buy just a normal goods like a carton of milk. And he is saying basically that it is far easier for him to get his hands on Bitcoin than to buy that carton of milk in Venezuela. It is really tough country. And let me just quickly read some quotes from here. And you should just listen to the 5 minutes interview that was done, yeah? I cannot play here because of copyright issues. Venezuela was once one of the wealthiest economies in South America. Today, that economy is in shambles. Venezuelans are facing colossal inflation rates rising to more than 1,000,000% last year, 2018, which makes it nearly impossible for people to afford the cost of living. Stop here. Side note, I have actually seen in Twitter that there were screenshots, there were pictures, there were videos of people actually rummaging through the garbage bin just to look for food or just to look for valuable items that they can find just to survive another day. People there are just concerned about very simple things like how do they get their basic food, how do they just live another day, and just to make sure they survive. So you and I, right, who listen to this, probably most of you are in a very modern and much more comfortable world, right? But just give a thought and give a prayer to Venezuelans, and I hope just more and more of them can get their hand on Bitcoin, though it is not easy. Let's look at it why. Venezuela, so back to the interview, right, and the key gist of the interview. Venezuelan economist Carlos Hernandez has found a temporary solution in Bitcoin's speculative transaction system. Hernandez said that with Bitcoin, he can trade with anyone in Venezuela and transact online. He spoke with Marketplace host Kai Rezda about how hard it is even to buy something as simple as a carton of milk. Quote, the first step would be to change my stash of Bitcoins to Bolivars, the local native currency. I would go to this page where I would exchange it. I think most likely is localbitcoins.com, though he doesn't want to say. Find a seller that uses the same bank so that transaction happens immediately. And then I get the Bolivars, and then the other step is finding the milk, which is actually the hard part of the process. Because it is very, very difficult because, it is very high inflation and people want to just hoard. People just want to buy as many things they can and put at their home, because the next minute or the next hour when you go to the store and buy, the same thing would have increased in prices already, because their local currency is just decreasing in value super rapidly, right? Listen to this interview. It's definitely worth your while. Some of the gist is also that so the key point is this: economist, right, who is educated and of course who has hands on internet, so that's why he knows Bitcoin and he knows English, right? Him being a very privileged individual there, he can get his hands on Bitcoin easily, but even then it is difficult for him to actually then use it to buy just really the essential items that he wants. Now, I've also read elsewhere that although a lot of people are saying, yes, Venezuela is definitely the great use case for Bitcoin, and it is definitely true, but it is still not prevalent because a lot of the people in Venezuela are not educated. They don't even have a good internet connection, right? Because internet connection can be patchy, and I believe you probably have to pay higher price just for a super reliable internet, right? So it is the majority of the people are not as lucky as the economist here, Carlos Hernandez, right? And many others featured in the social media that we know. But definitely, we need to think. And if you have people, you have friends, contacts, or somehow you have some links in Venezuela, we need to actually start a movement to see how we can help people there really. Because they also, I'm sure, they don't, a lot of them, as Carlos has mentioned in the interview, he doesn't trust the government version of the Patria platform, which we had mentioned earlier, the remittance service. They do not trust that. But again, some people who are, not so educated but have some means, they may not know enough that there's actually an alternative version of localbitcoins.com, right, or other peer-to-peer platform where you can just get your hands on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency with just super low fee of 1%. Many people may not know that, right, because they do not have the friends who are educated, and then they may just trust a Patria, and that will be the sad eventuality that I really, really hope will not happen, right? Though this is the news that they're offering, that government-backed remittance using Bitcoin and Litecoin is a very important, significant indicator, but it is still key to see the usage. And I really, really hope, right, that the people who are educated there will just pass on the words of mouth to the people who are less well educated, that they really need to use the localbitcoins.com if they want, right? And I just like petrol that eventually no one is using it, and that's why they have to come up with another solution like this. But in any case, right, the thing is this: so to use Bitcoin in places like Venezuela, what do you need? Or even for you to know what do you need, you definitely need an internet connection, you need some mobile phones, right? But that's why a lot of people do not have it. Now, the thing is that it's a latest development, right? Just last weekend, there were news that basically people have proven that they can send a Bitcoin Lightning payment over radio waves. So you do not need, So just last week, we have seen people sending Bitcoin Lightning payment over radio waves. That means you do not need internet connection, and that's very, very key in countries like Venezuela, right, or in emerging countries where people cannot even afford a nice internet-enabled mobile phone and internet connection that is super reliable, that costs money. So now they can use something alternative like a radio waves that are definitely much cheaper equipments, right, compared to mobile phone. Though this is still early days, as the people who have experimented it said that they still need to coordinate everything online, and it still costs about $200 USD. So still quite a lot, right, for people in Venezuela who just they have to rummage through the garbage to find food. So just imagine, right, the stark difference, right? But it is definitely, there is still hope, right? And it is not, Rome is not built in one day. So definitely it's not like tomorrow we can get all the people in Venezuela to adopt Bitcoin, but it is a start, and that is very, very key. We just need more people like Carlos Hernandez to just spread the words, right? And that will be cool. It was also one very key question of asked to Carlos of why he still choose to stay in Venezuela despite he has the means to actually escape, right? Because he's educated, he has internet connection, and he can easily done that. And there were news that in one of the key paper last weekend that says that people have actually fled have actually left Venezuela for Colombia just by remembering the passphrase in their head, in just by memory, because they don't want to risk, storing their crypto in a thumb drive, ledger, or or any other devices that will be just confiscated. He just remembered, and he managed to then go over to Colombia, and he can have his wealth in cryptocurrency. And that is again the power of Bitcoin and major cryptocurrencies, right? Yes. So next here, if you can see the chart here, it just shows you the local Bitcoin volume in Venezuela hits all-time high in currently, which is despite the more than 1 year long crypto winter, right? And in US dollars term, it's about $9 million in terms of transaction per week, yeah. And it's just 30% last week. In terms of monthly volume, local Bitcoin recorded 2,000 units of BTC per month. That means, so if you multiply by that roughly by about $4,000 per Bitcoin, that's about 80 million, right? Or $8 million in transactions. And that's 10 times more than what it was in just 1 year ago. And that is really, really key to see the adoption increase. And that's really, really good news. And as an illustration again of how big this is in Venezuela, is that their peer-to-peer Bitcoin market, which is including like localbitcoins.com and others peer-to-peer platform, does 157 times, that's 160 times the volume of their largest stock exchange, right? So that just gives you a sense of how big it is, yeah. And in terms of volumes per day is 1.28 million of Bitcoin or local Bitcoins each day this week, yeah. Huge volume. So in terms of volumes, Venezuela is the second largest after Russia globally, yeah. But in terms of traffic, Venezuela is number one globally. Now this is very, very key, right? So again, this just speaks to now in terms of so much people, so high adoption in Venezuela, despite it still being the minority, but still it is spreading, right? The virus is clearly spreading, and the government now is introducing this government remittance in Bitcoin and Litecoin speaks volumes, yeah. Next, Kroger ditching Visa and Starbucks backed new details. So, as one of the steps before Bitcoin other cryptocurrencies can become reserve currency in the like USD, is one of the key ingredients is that merchants and businesses have to start accepting Bitcoin, and then people have to be able to use their Bitcoin, because that's one of the key elements, right, of money. You need to be able to use it on a day-to-day basis. People are very comfortable using it, and that is then this news. It is happening already, right? The virus is starting already. The domino has started to fall, right? First, you have Kroger, which is the second largest retailer in the US after Walmart in terms of revenue, and this is huge. They have about almost 3,000 stores across US, and they have openly said that they are ditching Visa being the credit card network. They are not accepting Visa anymore because of the fees increase, and this is even before they are going to fees increase later in April. And they say openly that they're going to not accept Visa anymore, so customers cannot pay with Visa anymore. So immediately upon this news, Anthony Pompliano, the famous crypto influencer, whom yesterday I did an interview with him, so you can take a look as well, that he immediately stepped up, courageously to say anyone knows the management in Kroger, and he will then link it up. He and Morgan Creek team will quickly fly to meet the management team in Kroger to then link them up with Lightning Network team so that Kroger can accept Bitcoin via Lightning Network. And the discussion has started because just a few hours, because of Twitter power, of social media power, product manager in Kroger actually got news of this, and he has linked up the relevant people, and soon, right, they are going to accept Bitcoin. That is just starting. And today also we just have news that more news about Starbucks accepting crypto via BACT. But the details is that people can buy a Starbucks coffee using crypto, but the crypto will be paid to BACT, and then BACT will then convert into fiat and to pay to Starbucks, right? It's just like Ohio accepting tax, that they are taking the crypto and then they are converting directly into fiat immediately. Now, yes, this is, yes, if you are negative, then yes, you can say that yes, then eventually that Starbucks is still accepting fiat and not crypto. But you must remember, everything has a process and has an evolution. It has to follow a adoption curve, right? Now, just few years ago, it would be ludicrous to think that anyone, or in fact, one of the major objections about crypto is that you cannot even buy a coffee with crypto. But now that you can, but just that they are converting back into fiat. It's just in a matter of time when they are more comfortable about crypto, when the prices of crypto is becoming more stable, because it's still a very new nascent technology and invention that a lot of people in the world still do not have a crypto, right? So this is the opportunity. And this is also, of course, you can also put it around as a critic, but I really see as when there's an issue, when everyone says an issue, you must see what is the opportunity. And this is exactly the case, because a lot of people, because of this news, that they say that, oh, then Starbucks is just accepting fiat and not crypto. But no, you must remember there is an adoption curve, right? And eventually you have to warm them up first, right? Just like the pension fund, they are investing first in equity of crypto related firms, crypto infra firms first. You have to warm them up first, then slowly you can encourage them to start trying out accepting crypto and investing into crypto directly. But everything has its time. You just have to be patient, right? And this is exactly what will happen. So if you are holding some crypto now, congratulations to you. You're still in the early days, and this is definitely, you need patience and you will be rewarded. That's really my opinion. Last, right, Lightning Torch arrived in Iran, payment to Zia Sargil. Now, this is again a very major news. Just last weekend, I think, it believed that Lightning Torch has now passed to Iran, and from Iran has gone to Israel. Now, just a quick context for people who are new. Lightning Torch is basically a movement to, like an Olympic torch movement, right? They just want to do a small experiment. What started off as a small experiment has actually gone on to very major now. Have gone on to 40 countries. Everyone just need to top up or pay 30 cents US dollar equivalent into the payment network, Lightning Network, and just to show, and you can just pass to anyone you trust or you like. And this is just to show that the Lightning Network can process payments super fast, right? And using Bitcoin as the currency. And now that it has entered Iran, clearly show that, right, Bitcoin is definitely censorship resistant. It is, doesn't recognize any borders. You don't need, doesn't care what gender are you, what nationality are you, where are you based, right? Doesn't matter what political ideology you have, or which which musician or which scientist or you like, or what is your sexual preference, doesn't matter. All those doesn't matter. As long as you are a human, you have a right to live in this world, you can accept crypto and you can use. And this is just a basic fundamental human right? And that just brings me to the summary of everything, that clearly the movement for Bitcoin and major cryptocurrencies to become reserve currency has started. The drop has already, the trickle has already dropped inside the bucket, with Venezuela government introducing a remittances backed by them, right, using Bitcoin and Litecoin. They want to do this. It's because they do recognize that it is definitely increasing. People are using it. People are demanding this service. But that, how can they take a cut? And this is how they can take a cut, right? After all, their petrol is not popular. They need to think of ways. And you have merchants adoption. And this is huge names. Kroger is the second largest retailer, and globally they're the third largest, right? And this is huge, yeah. Starbucks and Bakkt, right? As I said, yes, they are not accepting crypto directly. Starbucks will convert their crypto into fiat, but regardless, this is a necessary step in the evolution for them to accept crypto eventually, direct crypto. Lightning Torch arrived in Iran, just show that, right, the power of cryptocurrency is not just a means to become rich, definitely, but when all this happens, when such a new invention like this, when a niche currency today becomes a reserve currency in the future, whoever who holds a bit of Bitcoin today will definitely reap the reward in the future, right? Yes, and hope you enjoy this. If you do, please leave a like, subscribe, give some comments, right? And yes, I see you tomorrow. And for all my subscribers and people who are watching, listening, thank you so much for your support. Really, truly, truly appreciate it. Hope you have a great day and amazing day wherever you are. Thank you.